Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything for Microsoft Entra Suite. My name is Nasos Kladakis, and I'm live with my teammates here from Seattle, Washington. And I am an engineer in a customer success engineering team for Entra for the last 12 years. And I would like to let my friends here introduce themselves. Jivan.
Hi, thanks, Nasos. So Jivan Best, I'm a PM in Microsoft security team working with the customer experience engineering. I lead the Microsoft Identity Network Access here. So happy to be here. Over to you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jivan. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Casper, also a PM in our CXE team. And like Jivan, I specialize in our Entra ID governance. So I'll be happy to answer any questions today. On to you, Martin.
Thanks, Jeff. My name is Martin Kutzer. I'm a product manager in the CXE engineering team, and I'm the guy that wants everybody to succeed in Entra Suite. So I'm here to answer all your questions.
Amazing. Thank you all. So we are ready for your questions. We have 30 minutes. Please ask anything. And I see the first question coming in. I mean, it's easy, I would say. So Martin, I will give it to you. So it says, what products are included in the Microsoft Entra Suite?
That's a great question. So the suite consists of 5 products, and these 5 products will make your life a lot easier when it comes to enforcing your employee security. So the first product is ID governance. ID governance is the product that will help you govern your identities in Microsoft Entra. And then we have private access. Our private access product will allow you to get access to your private resources. And I know that there's going to be a lot of talk on private access today. And then we have internet access. That's our product that allows you to connect to your internet resources, making sure your users are secure. And then we have ID protection, which looks at your risk of your users. And then finally, we have Verified ID Premium. Verified ID Premium is that ability for you to verify your identities with a special feature called Face Check. Face Check will make sure that the user that is going to access that resource, depending on how you set that up, will be able to verify it and make sure that it's really that user accessing those resources. So there's 5 products in the suite.
Thank you, Martin. And I would like to add that these are not just 5 products there in the suite, they are 5 products interconnected. And if we want to build a journey for all the products, I would say we can start with Face Check, where your users can prove who they are in a verified way. Then you can enter in governance and govern their access, decide who have access to what. And then through conditional access and identity protection, you allow them to access on-premises resources and cloud resources with Entra Private Access and Entra Internet Access. So all the products are very well interconnected, and combined, they give you an amazing way to secure the access of your workforce. Now, I see another question, and I think, Jivan, this question goes to you. It says, is it possible for Entra Suite products to be fully integrated in Windows so that a client install is not needed? A native app, like Intune, for example.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I'll go back to the previous one. I think I want to add one more point in there. Think of Entra Suite, as a platform rather than a collection of products, right? I think the whole mentality is that you don't have to, bolt multiple solutions together. Things should just work out of the box. So, when you think of Entra Suite, think of it as a platform and not just the individual products. I think that's the first thing. Coming back to the question, yes, I think one of the primary goals at Microsoft is we're trying to reduce the number of agents that we have, right? Because we clearly heard the feedback, with every product, with every agent, there is a deployment cycle, there is a maintenance cycle, there is like security patching, right? And we want to take that effort away as much as possible. So there are 2 things that we're doing. One is, we have plans to have, the the client as part of the operating system. It's a North Star that we are trying to work towards. But even today, we've achieved certain kind of efficiencies, especially when it comes to platforms like iOS and Android, where we are actually shipping the client, as part of a Defender. So if you have, you can reuse the same agent to become a GSA client. So yes, bang on. The question is absolutely on target. We have plans to make it even more integrated as part of the operating systems.
Thank you, Jeff. And also let's remind the people that the products that need an agent, like private access and indirect access, will have the agent. The other three products, Entra Identity Governance, Verified ID, and Identity Protection, they don't need an agent, right? And they are fully integrated with Windows in this way. Great. So we have a new question coming from LinkedIn, this time. So Jeff, this is for you. What is the best order to deploy Entra Suite solution? If you have 5 products, do you start from somewhere? Are the products have a dependency? So where should I start? Or I have to put all 5 at the same time?
So great question. Because it's part of the Entra platform, you have multiple capabilities, and depending on what you're trying to achieve first, where to begin. So the first thing I would simply look at is you have resources today. These are your applications, your file servers. Start with the conditional access policies that have identity protection, those risk-based policies. So the ability to have that controls when there is risk detected as a baseline. Now we can start looking at, well, governance, right? The life cycle of users. We want to onboard them with authoritative data, assign them the appropriate access to resources. And now that we have the ability to manage those, we can extend those resources, not just from cloud apps, but to things like on-premises apps using things like private access and also internet access. So building on the foundation, the resources you have, governance, onboarding those users, onboarding more resources in Entra, and applying those controls and iterate on that.
Great, but also let's say that you can deploy the product that you need most, right? I mean, we have best practices. We can tell you, we can suggest what you should do. We also have an amazing paper that says what you should do the first 100 days that you have Entra Suite. But at the end of the day, if you need something more than something else, it's up to you to deploy. We don't have hard dependencies from one product to the other.
Yeah, and if I may add, again, going back to the original comment, it is a platform play, right? And I jokingly tell this to my customer: the moment they acquire Entra Suite, you are 30% deployed, right? Because you're using the platform already, right? You have your devices, you have your identities, you have your applications already as a part of platform. So when you choose to utilize some of these capabilities as part of the Entra Suite, it is not starting from the scratch, right? For every customer journey, starting point might be different, and we offer flexibility, right? The Entra Suite offers flexibility to address multiple entry points based on the organization requirements, right? So.
Perfect. Yes, and if you don't believe us and you want to try Entra Suite, please go to ak.ms/Entra Suite trial guide, and you will see how you can get a trial, and then you can see how the products are working together, or how you can install whatever you really want at any point.
And I want to just chime in on something. Jivan used the word platform. I used the word platform. We talk about multiple capabilities, and one of the things that customers, I think, really benefit from is that common platform for support, for securing, for operationalizing, and learning. We know customers sometimes challenge of too many tools, not enough experience or people to support them. Bringing it together to that common control plane really allows them to deploy that and deploy it so they get those advantages rather quickly.
Absolutely, Jeff. And there are things that we can call it on the surface. There are things that are also things that are happening behind the scenes, right? If you think about your governance, if you think about your compliance needs, if you think about your SOCs, right? So all that data is like combined for you, so you don't have to do the bolting of multiple solutions to get some insights, right? It just happens out of the box right there.
Yeah, and I want also to say something that probably it's common sense by now, but it's good to repeat some things, I guess. Entra Suite is, and the set of products that are included are actually, security products. It's not just identity or something else. It's security product. And what I keep repeating to my customers, and it seems that it's landing, is the type of the best type of security, proactive security. So you are setting yourself and you are setting your organization ready for have less issues later on when you start with Entra Suite, because you take care of access. Who should have access to what? And then with some enforcement policies through conditional access and private access and internet access, you can make sure that the right people will access the right things in internet, in the cloud and on premises. And this is very important to start with a robust set of security settings before you go and add monitors or alerting systems that will tell you if something went wrong. Entra Suite is starting in the most secure way.
Yeah.
And I just want to add,
it's security, identity, and network access, right? Like this is completely a game changer. Like we are the platform who can do this together. So just keep on reminding ourselves, right? Hey, it is network access, it is identity, security combined into one platform.
Martin, please add your comment because I have my next question here, and this question is for you, Jivan. So prepare yourself, Martin.
Yeah, I just want to double click on that being proactive. So the product contains a lot of features that will help you get in front of your security. We know that a lot of organizations have various systems in place already, and in some cases they've let go. They don't know what's going on, and they want to rein back their security. And so this idea of being proactive means that you're going to implement a feature like access reviews in identity governance, and you're going to start seeing who's got access to those various groups, why do they have access, and then you can bring back those permissions and see through the intelligence that the product gives you to show you that, for example, there are users in these groups that aren't even signing in anymore, so they could be removed. And you can slowly but surely take back your control. And this is what we mean with proactive engagement. We are allowing you to bring back those permissions. And then through things like ID protection, you can also introduce the risk settings. So this is again something where you're very proactive and you look at what the user's behaviors are when they sign in, and also the things that happens with the user risk, all the detections that we have in Microsoft. And you can build that into your access policy so that you have more control over what people have access to.
Thank you, Martin. So I'm going to the next question, and Jeff, I will come later to you because you told me something once, and I want you to repeat it now to our audience. So, Jivan, the question is for you, and is: can Entra Private Access replace my VPN solution? If I have an existing VPN solution, can I use Private Access to replace it?
Yeah. So the answer is yes, and I'll elaborate this a little bit. Right. I think it is not just a replacement for VPN. Actually, we are elevating the the game, right? Because VPN traditionally have been like a layer 3 solution, right? And we know with the layer 3 solutions comes a lot of other problems, unintended problems that you might run into. And then VPN traditionally have like this open all access kind of a mode, right? So with the Entra Suite, what we're trying to do is we're trying to elevate the game where you can give just-in-time access, right? So think about this. You have multiple employee profiles, right, who need access to different types of apps working remotely. So you can manage all that access, with our Entra Suite governance, right, defining like who has a need for what applications, and that it can even handle just-in-time access, right? So you might need access to certain applications in emergency or need for some specific work to be done. So all of that can be achieved. The key thing here is you're not just focused on providing secure access, you're bringing in other game-changing technologies like artificial intelligence, right? So our identity protection kind of works hand in hand with our private access solution, which is part of the Entra Suite, right? With our conditional access engine. So what you're doing is, for your admins, you are giving them the similar feel. They know how to write the policies, they know how to configure it, and they have been doing that for years now. So they have the expertise, and now they can do the same thing for VPN replacement story. So
thank you so much, Ivan. Jeff, I will come to you now because you told me once that we are very nice people and we all only talk about granting access to this and granting access to that. What about removing access? If I want to stop someone from accessing, if I change my mind and I want to remove someone from accessing an application? What we can do about that? I think it's a good comment, and I would like you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so typically in many organizations, I kind of call it the access snowball, right? I'm requesting access, I'm getting new access, I'm changing roles, but who's removing the access that was granted? We want to really drive to the least privilege. We don't just mean on the admin level, but on the business, at the application, the resource level. And that's what I love about bringing these together. We now have governance to grant access to a resource, governance to remove it when it's no longer necessary, and combined with the private access, we can cut off network connections when it's no longer necessary. So now, if I'm in finance, I can get access to finance apps over the network. If I'm not in finance, I no longer have access to those finance apps. So why should I be connected to the network to those resources? That's why they're better together. We can grant and remove the appropriate access as needed.
Good. And any additional comments on the VPN replacement before I move to the next question?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Maybe I'm combining the access to the application or resource and the network path together. I now have multiple controls. So even though I am granted access to the finance share, maybe I don't have the network access. We bring these together in that common policy that Jeevan talked about. We have conditional access policies that everybody's familiar with. We're combining those with access package policies to what is assigned. And now we have those controls that is almost seamless to the end user. So it makes it really easy to get access when needed and remove it when it's no longer needed.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, Jeevan, I'm coming back to you. I mean, you are very popular today, I would say. So the question is about internet access, and is what we mean when we say we offer context-aware support with regard to web content filtering. What is context-aware in this?
Absolutely.
Case?
So, I'll also do a plug-in here. So we have another session happening at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is focused more on the SSE. It's the same link, that you should be able to access using like the same event. So just reminder to make sure that you attend that event. Now, the context aware is a very powerful mechanism for us, right? Because think about this, right? At any point of time, when you decide to give access to anyone, you have multiple signals that the Entra suite platform brings in together, right? So signals like your device state, signal like your user, the group, from where he's accessing, what he's trying to access, what is the device health at that point of time. So you can combine all these factors together to decide what kind of experience does the end user have when he's trying to access resources on the internet. So that's the that's the Uber context or what it means of context aware.
Thank you so much, Jeevan. So now I have a question that I will need the support from everyone. It's coming from our tech community. Bear with me as I'm reading the question. So it's about conditional access and cross-tenant access setting, right? So we're talking about cross-tenant now. I'm coming from another tenant. And the question is, do any of these new access tools, from governance to verified ID, from conditional access to private access, internet access, any of these tools allow us to better detect device compliance status from another tenant when it's coming into our tenant?
So first thing that we need to keep in mind is there's a setting called your cross-tenant access settings, which sets up the trust between two tenants. And in there, you can say whether or not you're going to trust that other organization's compliance status. So this is a claim when somebody signs in through the authentication protocol that they present to the other side. And if they are signing in from a compliant device and your tenant access settings allows you to accept that claim, then it means that you will accept that they have a compliant device and you will allow them access if your conditional access policy requires you to have a compliant device. Now you can set this up per organization. So you can say, I trust this organization. I have a good relationship with them. I know that they are doing the right thing. So I'm going to trust their device compliance status. But for another organization, which I don't trust, we just have an informal relationship with them, for example, I'm not going to trust them. So therefore, I'm not going to allow them to access this resource if I need this resource to have device compliant. So this is a setting that is you set up in your organizational settings for your organization, and it allows you to accept device compliance or not based on organization and the way that you trust other organizations.
Thank you, Martin.
Sorry,
Sorry.
So again, this goes back to the important point, the power of the platform, right? So the goal is the Entra suite has all these new products, right? And we want them to be able to leverage all these platform capabilities, right? So some of these exist today, some of these are coming very soon, right? So imagine now you can do the similar kind of efforts for your access to your private apps, right, in future, for your partner organizations, right? So that's the whole power of the platform. Like those capabilities that you feel are independent now can be applied throughout the different products. Sorry, Nasu,
And I was going to say, just to add a governance flavor to the cross-tenant access, right? Trusting device compliance is one thing, but we can also trust the metadata about the users from other tenants. So things like multi-tenant organizations and cross-tenant synchronization allow us to trust that data and use things like auto-assignment policies. When users come from other tenant, they automatically get access to these resources. Or just like Naso said, they'll automatically remove access when they change roles. So again, the power of the platform, not a feature, but a platform.
Thank you. So I have a question about verified ID now, and it's about the easiest way to use a verified ID and test if face check is something that works for you. So I would say I will use an example with really the easiest way of using verified ID is out of the box. You will just click a button and that will happen. And it's using face check with verified ID when you use entitlement management. So again, to connect it with the multi-tenancy or guest accounts or even administrators, imagine that an administrator or someone who is a guest and coming from another tenant wants access to specific applications. So while, again, to connect it with the previous question, you might not be able exactly to know what's going on in their device, you can make sure that before they get access to an access package, to an entitlement management catalog package, you make sure it's them. So when they go to the self-service catalog that says, you need access to this resource, you need this access package. If they click, I need this access package to get access to the resources as an admin, or as a guest, then out of the box, with just a click of a button, you can enable this access package to require face check. So before I allow you to open the package and get access to the applications, you will need to do a face check with your phone and verified ID and make sure you take a selfie and move your head around. And so the system will be certain that it's you and connected to the device. And then it will give you the access package that will allow you to access the sensitive resources as an admin or as a guest. And obviously, after a while, this access can be removed. To go back to Jeff's comment about removing of access, not just allowing access. Perfect. So do we have any last thoughts? Because we are very close to the finish. Team, any last thoughts about the products and everything that we said today?
Yeah, I just want to add that in terms of verified ID, there's a few more scenarios that you can consider, maybe not right off the bat. So the example that Nasos mentioned was a very easy way of getting face check and verified ID enabled in your work today and getting it quickly up and running. But there's other scenarios like employee onboarding. Imagine that first day of the employee is remote. You want to make sure that he's really that person that's signing up, that you interviewed during the process of hiring the person. You want to build an application that uses verified ID to make sure that that's a person that pitches up for work. And then the same goes with help desk scenarios. Imagine somebody wants to reset their password, or they want to get some special help. You want to make sure that they are verified. And so we have examples, and we'll share the link. It is aka.ms/verified ID docs, where we explicitly explain these scenarios, and you can go and get some sample applications which you can customize and you can implement in your environment. You can add your company logo, all of those things, and you can create a verified ID help desk as well as verified ID employee onboarding.
Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you, everyone. Time flies, and I think we are at the end. We have a couple more questions. You can keep asking your questions in tech community until Friday. I know, Jivan, I see a question for you. You should go now to the tech community and answer that. And thank you all from LinkedIn, from tech community, from other places that you put your questions. We really appreciate you. And with that, we will move to our next session in a few minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, folks.